Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Kathy here. I just finished making this chicken katsu curry. It's taken me absolutely ages to make. As you can see, the light's kind of gone, which is why it's a bit dark, and I'm using a lamp to sort of give me some extra lighting, but I'm finally finished. I think it looks pretty impressive and hopefully it tastes good too. Let me just give it a quick taste. Do you know what? That is actually really nice. Considering that was my first attempt, I'm actually really happy with it. The sauce is really similar to, I would say, the Wagamama sauce, not the wasabi one, the Wagamama one. And it tastes really good. It took absolutely forever to make, but it is really nice. So if you would like to watch this recipe, please carry on. And yeah, comment below and tell me what you think.
Right guys, so I started off by prepping my chicken by cutting each chicken breast in half, just lengthways. I've seen some people do this horizontally, but I wasn't confident in doing that, so I just cut them in half lengthways. I then got my sort of breading station ready, so I've got a tray that I'm emptying a whole pack of Panko breadcrumbs onto. I've also got a bowl of 2 eggs that I've beaten together with a little bit of water, and I'm also going to get another tray and empty out some plain flour onto it. You don't need too much flour, just a little bit. And I'm also just going to spread that around with my hands just to make sure that it's evenly distributed onto the tray. And then basically what you're going to want to do is grab one of your chicken halves. You're going to want to pat it into the flour, make sure that it's all covered. Then you dunk it into the egg mixture, move it around with your other hand, and then put it into the panko breadcrumbs with your dry hand, and you basically make sure that it's covered in the panko breadcrumbs. And you're going to want to do that with all of your breasts. And then I was all done and I decided to oven bake them. I didn't want to deep fry them because I wanted it to be healthy, so I'm just going to stick it into an oven. I then started to get the katsu curry sauce. I'm just adding 2 medium onions that I'd cut into rough chunks, and also I want to say that's about 8 to 10 cloves of garlic, just whole garlic cloves, and you're just going to want to enter that into the pan and stir it around, let them soften up a little bit. So after a couple of minutes, you're going to want to add your turmeric, your ground turmeric. So I'm adding in a tablespoon of ground turmeric. I'm just going to sprinkle that over the onions and garlic. And then you're also going to add your curry powder. Sorry, I shook the camera a little bit with my head by accident, but yeah, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of curry powder, any that you have to hand. Sorry that the camera's a bit shaky there, guys. And then I accidentally added ground cinnamon when I meant to add ginger, so that was a bit of a stupid move. So I'm now trying to sort of scrape out the cinnamon because katsu curry does not call for cinnamon. What I meant to add was ground ginger. So yeah, I'm now frantically trying to get rid of the cinnamon and scrape it out of the pan. I'm just mixing everything into the onions and the garlic. Make sure it's all incorporated. Don't worry if it seems a little bit dry at this stage, that's fine, because we're going to add some chicken stock soon. So now I correctly added the ginger, so I'm adding about a tablespoon of ground ginger, not cinnamon, and I'm going to stir that in to all the other ingredients in the pan. Make sure that everything's thoroughly mixed in together and that the onions and the garlic are fully coated in all the spices. And then last but not least, you're also going to add some plain flour. So that was 1 tablespoon of plain flour, and you're just going to stir that in again And then at this stage, you're going to want to get your chicken stock ready. So I prepared about 500 millilitres of chicken stock, and you're going to want to start adding this in little by little. So I'm just adding in a little bit to start off with, and I'm stirring it into the onions and the garlic. So at first it's going to be really sticky as it sort of breaks down that flour, but the more sort of chicken stock you add, it's going to become looser and looser until it turns into a nice sauce. So you're just going to stir that in and just try and break down all of sort of like the spices and flour into the chicken stock. So I'm just adding everything in and making sure that it's thoroughly mixed in together. And once you've added in all your chicken stock, you're going to want to let it simmer on a medium to low heat. So after the sauce has simmered for about 10 to 15 minutes, I'm adding in about 2/3 of a can of coconut milk, and I'm just going to mix that in, and this is going to give the sauce a nice sort of creamy consistency and that lovely katsu flavour that we all love. So I'm just going to stir that in. I'm just scraping the sides of the pan to get rid of everything that's sort of stuck to the side, and I'm just mixing that in, and it's going to give the sauce a nice flavour. So just make sure the coconut milk is thoroughly mixed in. And then I just let that heat up, and then I also add some soy sauce. I want to say about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, but this is completely to your taste. And then I also added 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. So you can either use sugar or you can use honey, whichever is to your taste. And you're basically going to want to season it with your soy sauce, your sugar or your honey, and yeah, this is just going to give it a nice flavour. So I'm just mixing that in. And then once that's all mixed in and incorporated, I then sort of like sieved out all of the large onion and garlic cloves, and you're left with a nice smooth sauce, which looks something like this. And then you're basically done, guys. Your chicken should hopefully be ready by now, and also your rice. And you're going to want to basically plate everything up. So I'm just giving this a quick stir. I've plated up my rice and I've cut my chicken into pieces, and I'm now topping it with the lovely katsu sauce. So I used sushi rice, but feel free to use whatever rice you have to hand, and get that ready so that you can plate it up with your chicken and your katsu sauce. Then I'm just adding some salad just to make it slightly healthier and also make it look a little bit nicer. And then you're basically done, guys. I would definitely say try out this recipe. It's a little bit time intensive because you do have to bread all of your chicken and cook the chicken and then also cook the sauce, but it's definitely worth it. And yeah, this tasted really similar to the Wagamama sauce. So if you like your katsu curry, you like your Wagamama, you like your wasabi, definitely give this recipe a try and tell me what you think about it in the comment section below.